This is how you do a DC movie. Whoever made this, please take over the live action movies. Save us from the people who thought Green Lantern and Man of Steel were quality films. I can't believe that Warner Brothers has two departments, one getting it right and one getting it wrong. Especially since the ones getting it wrong have the bigger budget and tools. I mean, what's your next surprise, guys? Matt Damon as Nightwing? The Rock is Plastic Man? Go home, Zack Snyder, you're drunk. Hey YouTube, Trey here. This week DC released their newest direct-to-DVD animated movie, Justice League War. It's an origin story on Justice League based on the New 52 graphic novel, Justice League Origin. Why'd they change the name from Origin to War? I don't really know. Probably to make it sound more action-y. DC's been knocking it out of the park with their animated movies. This story features the first meeting of Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, Flash, Cyborg, and Shazam. Considering the amount of characters they have to deal with, including the villain Darkseid, this story does a great job of juggling everything. Everyone has their moment. The characters are definitely updated with their New 52 personas. That may be surprising for more casual viewers or non-comic readers who are used to more classic representations of these guys. Here we've got a League who swears, Superman has some youthful arrogance to him, Wonder Woman is far more an Amazonian warrior, and get out of the way, Lois Lane and Steve Trevor, because Superman and Wonder Woman are definitely eyeing each other.
You're strong.
I know.
There's a lot of interesting character dynamics going on between these characters since they've never met before. Batman and Green Lantern have some great back and forth. Superman and Wonder Woman have some interesting sexual tension, which kind of makes sense considering how similar their power sets are. And even Cyborg and Shazam have a really interesting connection that wasn't seen in the comics. Cyborg is a new addition to the team's history. Before the universe-wide reboot a couple of years ago, Cyborg was best known as a member of the Teen Titans. But ever since the Flashpoint Paradox, he's been getting a much bigger role in the universe. Since DC decided to market Hal Jordan as the main Green Lantern instead of John Stewart, it'd be easy to accuse Cyborg of being the new token black character. And you'd probably be right to some degree. But I think it'd be a mistake to write Cyborg off yet. He's still the great character he always was, and his origin works really well here. Wonder Woman is a personal standout for me in this one. I've never been much of a fan of hers, as I find it hard to lock down who she's supposed to be. Even her fans can't seem to agree on how she should best act. In this movie, she's portrayed as a true Amazonian warrior, delighted to jump into battle and slay monsters. Coming from Paradise Island, she doesn't know the culture or social rules, but instead of feeling embarrassed or awkward, like say Captain America, Diana barrels forward, amused and excited to learn new things. It's really endearing, and her personality pulled me in. Is this how she's written in the comics now? Because I would read this character. This was the first time I was ever saying, "More Wonder Woman, please." The bulk of the film is just one long battle, and while that could get really old fast, this movie has enough pauses and breathing room to keep me interested. Unlike Transformers 3, where I was looking at my watch waiting for the fights to be over, this one kept me engaged in the battles. Each character has a different fighting style, and with 7 main characters, that keeps things from feeling repetitive. That said, let's talk about some of the weaker aspects. I do wish they could have fleshed out some of the details a bit more. The movie follows the comic pretty faithfully, but while the comic has the benefit of having a new issue every month, the film is just one and done. This is all you get. So if there's a dangling plot line in the comic, they can follow it up in the next issue, or the next story, or whenever. Here, if there's something left unsaid, it's just confusing. For example, Shazam. It's never explained if this is the first time Billy's becoming Shazam or not. The first time we see him change, he's going outside to investigate a disturbance with a bat. But why would he need a bat if he can just become Shazam? And when he hooks up with the other heroes later, none of them have heard of him. So this must be his first time, right? Except he's not surprised by anything. He's used to his powers, and it seems like he's just as much a pro as they are at this. Little details like this, just a line here and there, would have really helped. Also, just a little nitpick, But Shazam changes by saying the word Shazam. So, when he introduces himself to everyone, shouldn't he have changed back into Billy?
Hey there, what's up? Shazam!
With Cyborg, I felt there was an obvious path for his character arc to follow, but it never happened. Vic Stone is a successful high school football star looking for the approval and appreciation of his father. His father thinks football is a waste of time and that the arrival of superhumans has made Vic's talent obsolete. When an accident turns Vic Stone into Cyborg, he feels like he's lost everything he was and he doesn't know his place anymore. At one point in the film, Batman and Superman are off taking care of something else, and the other heroes are looking for guidance. How is this not the perfect opportunity for Cyborg to step up and lead the team? What better way to show that his talents were never obsolete? Using the skills and lessons he learned from football, he could have assessed the situation, come up with a strategy, and called the plays, helping the league learn to work as a team. Out of all the heroes, he's the only one with experience working in a team environment. Instead, the movie gives the leader position to Green Lantern, and when he fails, to Wonder Woman. It just felt like a lost opportunity to bring everything full circle and better validate Cyborg's existence. As long as we're talking about characters, I have to bring up the fact that the movie replaces Aquaman with Shazam. It's a little disappointing because Aquaman had some pretty cool scenes in the book. Plus, I think people were surprised and impressed by him in Flashpoint Paradox. I think people were a little ready for some more Aquaman in their diet. I'm not the biggest fan of the style used here. It looks overly muscular. It's most distracting with Superman. That, along with the new costume and a little tweaked personality, it almost feels like a different character sometimes. The lines on Green Lantern's shoulders are completely unnecessary. And Wonder Woman's costume just looks generic. I don't know if it needed a bigger logo or the colors were too muted or what, but it just doesn't feel like Wonder Woman. The acting itself is really solid, but the voices don't always fit the characters. Batman in particular has a very monotone style voice. It never changes no matter what's going on in the story. Change it up a little, man. But the one I'm most conflicted about is Darkseid himself. He has this great, gravelly, inhuman sounding voice. The only problem is, I always have to listen to it and play it back in my head to figure out what he just said. It just needed to be a little bit more clear. Now let's talk about some of the cooler aspects of this movie. Starting here, the DC animated movies are going to be in a shared universe. All the previous releases were standalone movies disconnected from each other, but now we're going to start having some continuity. The next release, Son of Batman, is going to feature the same Batman character that we saw in this one, and it even features the same voice actor. The mid-credits scene that has to be included in every superhero movie is back. In Flashpoint Paradox, we saw the arrival of the Parademons on Earth. This time around, we get a little tease for what looks like Throne of Atlantis, a Justice League story that focuses on Aquaman's world. So if you were upset about the King of the Seas being excluded from this run, just wait a little bit longer. One of the things I noticed is that this film uses several elements that were considered very negative aspects of the Man of Steel movie. There's massive property damage to the city, and Superman even kills a man at one point. So why did I have such a problem with it with one movie, but it didn't bother me at all here? Why? Is it just simply easier to see it in animation? No, I think what makes it work here is that it feels more justified. The heroes aren't just focused on stopping an enemy, they're focused on protecting people. There are several scenes of the League stopping to save people before moving forward. These are the type of crucial scenes that were missing from the Man of Steel movie. So all in all, this was a great addition to DC's direct-to-DVD line. Marvel may be king of the live-action movies, but DC owns an animation. Heck, I wouldn't mind if they just dropped their live-action movies and started putting out 2 animated theatrical releases a year. It would set them apart from Marvel and probably be a heck of a lot cheaper. If you have any interest in these characters, it's worth checking out. Be warned, it's got a little bit of swearing and graphic violence, so it may not be suitable for younger kids. Other than that, it's a blast. I can't wait for their next feature, Son of Batman. Now I want to hear from you guys. What did you think of the movie? Or what comics would you like to see adapted into the animated series line? Let me know in the comments below. Like the video, subscribe to that channel, and I'll see you guys next time. Later days.